Vi er tilbage igen med endnu en reaktionsvideo her på kanalen, mine damer og herrer. Og ikke med det, vi er tilbage med headsettet. Oh yeah! Hvad? Fuck godt det der, det ved jeg ikke. Jeg ved ikke, hvad det var. Anyways. I dag skal vi nemlig reagere på endnu en video, hvor der er noget voiceover. Så det kan jeg godt lide. Vi gjorde det også her for nylig, og det fungerede super fint, så lad os da prøve det igen. I dag skal vi reagere på endnu en video fra Golden 90. Denne gang skal vi reagere på 10 spillere, der basically forlod deres klub på en disgraceful måde. Hvordan oversætter det her dansk? Det ved jeg ikke, men i hvert fald de efterlod dem på ikke særlig gode termer. Så vi har allerede en næste i. Det ved jeg ikke lige, hvordan det hænger sammen. Det håber jeg ikke, at det har noget med det at gøre, fordi det forstår jeg ikke helt. Anyways, lad os da prøve at blive klogere på det.
Every footballer wants a graceful exit from their club, especially after having served there for years and attaining or nearly attaining legendary status. But unfortunately, not everybody gets that chance. Some players are pretty much forced to leave the club in an embarrassing manner. Here are 10 footballers who left their clubs in disgrace.
Okay, spændende.
Number 1, João Cancelo. João is probably the most recent list today. At the beginning of the season, Cancelo was the last person anyone would have expected to leave the club.
Det var så random, da det kom frem.
He's been one of the most important players for City over the last few years, and was even handed the number 7 jersey last year, which is huge considering he's a fullback.
Det skulle de så stoppe med. Det skulle de stoppe med. Jeg ved ikke, hvad fanden City havde gang i at give en venstreback nummer 7. Fuck out of here.
Cancelo used to be one of the first names on the City team sheet back then, but this season he started seeing less and less game time, with a much younger Rico Lewis being preferred to him in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
This went on, and Cancelo pretty much became a second-team player. Then, boom! In the January transfer window, we hear that Cancelo wants out, and City don't even want to try and stop him. Before we could even say Jack Robinson, Cancelo's loan deal to Bayern was complete, and there's an option for them to buy him too, so he's not coming back. It's definitely...
Tænker også, hvorfor skulle han nogensinde komme tilbage? Altså igen, Rico Lewis er spændende, så fair play, men det er så random. Også bare da jeg så nyhederne, vi fik jo faktisk vores live reaction på podcasten i en af episoderne, hvor jeg var sådan lidt...
not how we expected João Cancelo to leave City.
Det er mærkeligt.
He was pretty much forced out. Anyway, let's now cross over to the other side of Manchester.
Here we go.
Number 2, Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oblakt.
We're all aware of how Ronaldo left United the second time around. It was not pretty at all. In retrospect, he'd have been much better off staying at Juventus, to be honest. It all started when the new manager began to relegate him.
Prøv at høre, det er faktisk endnu bedre, at blevet i Real Madrid til at starte. Han skulle bare blive der. Altså, hvad fuck?
Bench from the third game of the season. At first, it was just the media being really fixated on it, but then Ronaldo himself got very involved in the drama when he walked out before the end of the game against Spurs.
Det har jeg ingen respekt for.
Discipline led to Ronaldo being suspended for the next game against Chelsea. We saw a young coach really disciplining the GOAT, and what made it all worse for CR7 was that the team seemed to be doing much better without him.
Yep, pretty much.
At that point, we all just knew that Ronaldo's days at United were numbered. We just didn't know how he was going to get out. Then, boom! When clubs went on their break before the World Cup, it happened. Ronaldo did an interview with Piers Morgan.
Why Ronaldo?
All sorts of stuff about United, the current manager.
Jeg kunne faktisk godt lide Ronaldo.
Everybody got slammed.
Yndlingsspiller.
If you watched that interview, you'd have known that was going to be the end, and it didn't even take long before his contract was terminated and he left. Number 3, Lukaku became the most expensive.
Så kommer Lukaku lige i det, for fuck's sake. Det er næsten... Hvad var værst Ronaldo og Lukaku egentlig? Fordi Ronaldo har i det mindste gjort noget godt for United. Lukaku har jo... Altså... Han gjort noget godt for Chelsea. Få ting i hvert fald.
Footballer of all time as per combined transfer fees after his return move to Chelsea was finalized in 2021. But that move, which was highly anticipated, turned out to be one of the big transfer fails.
Da vi fik den here we go på Lukaku, der tænkte jeg, this is fucking it. Vi vinder ligaen.
He didn't exactly see eye to eye with the coach. Oh, and while he was in England, an interview of him declaring his eternal love for Inter Milan surfaced, and that didn't do him much good at all.
True.
So, with all this having happened, the club really didn't care that they'd spent crazy amounts of cash on him. They simply counted their losses and sent him back to Inter, where he came from. Number 4, Aubameyang. Aubameyang was Arsenal's captain shortly before he left the club. He had led them to an FA Cup win, won the Premier League Golden Boot with them, and was generally one of the most important players at the club. So to leave in the manner he left was just a shame. It started with a little punishment for indiscipline, then he was stripped of the captaincy, then he was completely sidelined. It then all ended with it.
Det er så mærkeligt et eller andet sted, for det der med Aubameyang. Jeg tror ikke rigtig, jeg forstår det også, bare fordi nu ser du det her med Chelsea for eksempel. at vi basically ikke har inkluderet ham i vores Champions League hold til knockout-kampene, hvilket i sig selv burde være sådan lidt, holy fuck, hvor sindssygt. Det, altså, hvis vi kender tydeligvis Aubameyang fra en sted i Arsenal, så burde det jo fuldstændig ødelægge ham. Nu burde han jo sikkert ødelægge klubben indenfra og begynde at sprede rygter og alt muligt, som han gjorde i Arsenal, formodentlig i hvert fald. Men så kommer det frem, at Aubameyang ikke engang, han havde mulighed for at skifte til MLS, og bare earn cash og være den bedste spiller i ligaen. Så valgte han at blive i Chelsea og kæmpe for sin plads. Der var altså at sige, jeg ved ikke, hvor det kommer fra, men så forstår jeg ikke rigtig, hvorfor han ikke bare gjorde det i Arsenal. Der må have været et eller andet, vi ikke ved tydeligvis. Jeg forstår det ikke.
Contract being torn up and him being sent out of the club mid-season. Number 5.
Ja, den er mærkelig.
Trossard.
Den er mærkelig, den med Auba.
Trossard moving from Brighton to Arsenal is definitely an upgrade, but the manner in which he left his former club wasn't the most.
Det er egentlig vildt, hvor recent alle de her transfers er.
Everybody knew how good the Belgian was for Brighton, but after the World Cup, he had a falling out with the coach, who would then neither play him or even talk to him in training. Trossard quickly went from being one of Brighton's major sources of goals to being a nobody at the club, and it must have stung a little bit extra because he was replaced so quickly, like he was never there in the first place.
Er det true?
Anyway.
Er det true? Så tænker man, Trossard, shit, de mangler ham. Nej, så kommer vi to med vejen. Yeah.
At least he got an upgrade and might even win the league this season.
Might
serve as a consolation for how he left Brighton. But hey, enough of these recent guys. Let's throw things back a little.
Okay, here we go.
Number 6, Figo.
Oh yes, selvfølgelig.
Figo's move from Barcelona to Real Madrid in 2000 was heavily controversial and political. Basically, his leaving Barcelona was not at all in his own hands, but the Barca fans didn't care one bit. He was a traitor and the most hated man in Catalonia that year. All you need to know about the move was encompassed in the first return to the Camp Nou.
Det var det kaster.
Non-stop called a Judas and a traitor, but worst of all, a pig's head was thrown at him on the pitch. Those were some absolutely insane scenes at the Camp Nou that day. Number 7, Emmanuel Adebayor. Remember Adebayor's infamous celebration after scoring for Man City against Arsenal? He did that because of how he left Arsenal in 2009. He claimed that he was forced out of the club by Arsene Wenger. In addition to that celebration, he also allegedly slapped Alex Song's face and tried to stamp on Fabregas in the same game. That's surely not the best of exits. Number 8, Balotelli. Balotelli didn't leave Man City on the best of terms. First of all, the manager Mancini had complained about his attitude over and over during his time at City. And then, prior to the time he left, he was fined 2 weeks' wages and then took the club to the Premier League tribunal over that. Balotelli had also fallen out with a lot of his teammates at the time, and he missed 11 games that season because of suspensions. He was just a liability.
11 kampe. Og det er så synd også, fordi Balotelli, han var bare så god, da han kom frem. Altså den semifinalkamp mod Tyskland i EM 2012, glemmer jeg aldrig. Altså det viser virkelig, hvad peak Balotelli kunne have noget. Han kunne literally have været blandt nogle af de største angriber i den her æra.
So they left him to return to Italy mid-season.
Det er så, hvad der sker, når man ikke har, når man ikke har nogen work ethic.
Payet's one true love has always been Marseille. He had to leave and move to the Premier League when the club was in a financial bind, but the moment they could afford to bring him back, he decided he was going to go back by any means possible. In January 2017, Payet said he no longer wanted to play for West Ham, and in the next game after that announcement was made by the coach, his mural at the London Stadium had to be guarded to prevent it from being destroyed by fans. When Marseille came knocking, West Ham didn't want to let him go. They wanted him to apologise to the fans and stay at the club, but we all knew that was never going to happen.
Fair fucking play to West Ham.
That month,
Fair
West
play.
Ham eventually came around and Payet moved back to Marseille for a club record fee. His mural was swiftly removed the following day. Number 10.
Ja, men ærligt, altså, det med Payet, det forstår jeg ikke. Han var så vanvittig den ene 15-16 sæson. Så vanvittig. Skiftede tilbage til Marseille, og så var sådan noget, hvor kom det fra? Men ja, han kunne ikke rigtig ramme den samme form i sin anden sæson for West Ham, men stadig.
Diego Costa.
Yeah, I don't get it.
You guys remember how Costa left Chelsea,
right? Yeah, but
Costa straight up told him he wasn't part of his plans, and the crazy thing was that he didn't even give him the honor of breaking that news to him face to face. He did it over a text message. He went on to not include the Spanish striker in the Premier League and Champions League squads, and he was also not allowed to train with the first team. On top of that, the club was still demanding a high fee from his suitors, which led Costa to say that he was being treated like a criminal by Chelsea.
Et eller andet sted, den med Costa, jeg ved ikke rigtig, hvor jeg står der som Chelsea-fan, fordi på den ene side, altså ja, og der var alt det her med sådan, om så ville han lige pludselig måske skifte til Kina for at tjene mange penge og sådan noget der. Altså der var altid usikkerhed omkring hans fremtid, og man følte sådan, at okay, hvis du ikke er loyal, så kan du også bare fuck af et eller andet sted. Men jeg synes stadig bare, altså også fordi, det var ikke fordi Conte kom ind som en ny træner og sagde, okay, der skal nogle nye boller på suppen, det der her, det er jo Costa. Nej, Diego Costa var jo vores topscorer den sæson, hvor vi vandt Premier League under Conte. At han så bare casually, at de kan have sådan en god sæson, og så kan Conte bare lige hurtigt sige, hov forresten, jeg gider ikke bruge det længere, fuck out of here. Send tekstbesked, og så, altså, I don't get it. Jeg synes, det er så synd. Også fordi Diego Costa er så også bare en spiller, der ikke har kunne ramme samme form, siden han skiftede fra os. Men den gør ondt, den med Costa, det gør den faktisk virkelig. For han er sådan den eneste gode angriber, vi har haft siden Drogba. Måske Giroud, men stadigvæk.
Anyway, which one of these guys would you say left in the worst possible manner? Let us know in the comments.
Fair play, I hørte ham, boys and girls. Lad mig høre, hvad synes I her, nogle spillere, I tænker, der har forladt deres klubber, som ikke lige fremmer på den bedste måde? Jeg tænker for eksempel William Gallas, der gerne vil væk fra Chelsea, og basically troede med at score selvmål i kampe, hvis vi sådan solgte ham. Måske er der ikke lige den super fedeste måde. Courtois, også god. Jeg kan bare sidde der og Chelsea-spillere af, altså, men I kan sikkert også nogle andre derude, så lad mig høre det i kommentarfeltet. Og Anna Garcia, det var en fucking fed liste. Det her, så shout out til Goal90, link til videoen i beskrivelsen. Og tak fordi I så med alle sammen. Peace out.